Kombucha, it's all the rage these days, right? Well, why? Well, because it has a lot of probiotics and enzymes. It's great for digestion. Well, that's an awesome thing. But to buy this at the store, you're looking at about $3 to $5 depending on where you get it, if you can find it. Well, I show you how to make it yourself. With knowledge of non-toxic living, helping you to make easy, cost-effective changes for yourself and your family, providing you the tools to make life healthier naturally. And today we are going to make kombucha. What you're going to need to make your kombucha is, of course, you're going to need your fermented kombucha, which I will show you how to make that. And we like ours flavored, so I have some juices. I have a pomegranate juice today, and then I have orange mango, and I have a morning blend, which is, I do believe, mango, pineapple, and orange. So similar to the orange mango, but my husband likes pineapple. So those are the blends that I have. And then, of course, you need your bottles, something to bottle it. You need a cap. To be able to cap it off because you want it to carbonate, and then of course a funnel. And for your measurement for your juices, I have a measuring cup. This is a 4-ounce mason jar that I could just use as a measuring cup. And all of my jars are 16 ounces, so that helps me. We normally add about 1/4 of fruit juice to our kombucha, and we like the taste. So dividing 16 by 4, and you get 4, and that's why I have the 4-ounce mason jar. So let's get started. All right, so my jars have all been cleaned. My lids are clean. So I'm going to lay out the jars in some sort of semblance to kind of help me to figure out which flavor I'm going to put in which jars. And then I guess I'll just start with the pomegranate. I've got my funnel, and I'm going to pour 4 ounces in each of my jars. Here's my kombucha, and you can see up here, hope you can see, there's the SCOBY on both of these, and this has been fermenting. This is now the 3rd day. And I tested it before I decided to do the video just to make sure that it was where I wanted it to be. But I like brewing them in the spigot jugs, because then I can pour out of the spigot into my jars and then allow this to, you know, it will drain out, and then I can add the new stuff on top. Okay, let me math this out for you real quick. Our 1 gallon jugs, and in 1 gallon you should be able to get 8 of these 16-ounce jars out of a gallon. But if you remember, I added 4 ounces of juice to each jar, so therefore out of every 3 jars I can actually add another one, because that would give me 12 more ounces of the kombucha to fill up another jar. Make sense? Now we're going to cap the lids, but as you're filling up, you want to make sure that you get it to about the shoulder. You want to give yourself a good airspace, and that will allow the carbonation to a place to go as it also flows into the liquid. Carbonation is what's going to make the bubbly part of your kombucha. And if you don't want it bubbly, that's fine. You can cap this and then put it in the fridge right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cap this and then put it in a warm place for about 2 days, and then I will refrigerate it. And what that will do is that will that'll allow it to ferment a little more and create more carbonation to create the bubbly. But like I said, if you don't want the bubbly, that's fine. You can cap it and put it in the fridge, and then it's ready to drink. Now, the carbonation, you know, or a lot of people are calling it the second fermentation, which technically, yes, it is a second fermentation. That is not a have-to create your kombucha. This is kombucha, but like I said, if you want it bubbly, then you need to let it ferment for a couple of days in the second fermentation to create the bubbles in it. In my jars, all I've done is collected or saved the jars from store-bought kombucha. It's right here. This is, or all 3 of these different types of jars are different kombucha. And the reason we have done that is when we're starting the kombucha, I wanted to see what the family liked to drink, you know, because it would really suck to make a whole gallon of flavor and then the family not like it. So I've got everything capped. I'm going to put it in the box and then store it in my kombucha storage area for about 2 days. them in a box. For one, it kind of keeps the light away from the kombucha. You know, it likes a dark place. And then it also makes it easier to carry all of these jars. So I will put this away, and then I will come back and show you how I make my next batch. So I'll be right back. I have my kombucha jars. I have my SCOBY already in it, along with the starter mix. See, as you drain it, and the bottom, you know, of these jars with the spigot, you don't get out all of what's in the bottom. So that is enough for my starter. Pretty smart, isn't it? And then I have my tea that I was brewing. I use 5 single-serve tea bags, and the only reason I'm using these is this was a package of tea that was given to me. Once I finish with those, I will be going to a loose leaf organic that I will package myself, and I'll show you how that's done. But I have the regular tea bags, and I just have some water. I didn't even really measure it. 1 quart of water, and about 4 quarts make a gallon. So 1 quart of water is probably about what is in my saucepans, and then 1 cup of sugar, organic sugar, each pan. Now I have dissolved the sugar, so you heat up the water, you dissolve the sugar, and then add the tea bags. Turn off the heat and allow it to cool. But it is still a little warm, so what I'm going to do is add about 1 quart of cold water, or this is actually just room temperature water that comes from my Berkey filter. You do want to use filtered water, especially if you live in a municipal area where they use chlorine and fluorides in the water. That will mess with the fermentation process in your fermenting. So in fermentation, you always want to use either filtered water or like spring water if you live in the country and use a well like I do. Then that coming from the tap could be, should be fine, but we do have a Berkey filter, so I use the Berkey water. So I'm going to pour just, about half of this, which is another quart, in each one of these pans. And the only reason I'm doing that is because to cool it down. So I'm straining these, and then what I will do is I'll cut the string off and put it in my compost for later. And then let's see how big of a mess I can make by pouring this in. Now you do want to make sure that your water is cool, at least room temperature, because water that's too hot will scald your SCOBY and damage it. So there's one. There's the other. Easy peasy, isn't it? All right, since I don't have water all the way to the rim, I'm going to go get some more of my filtered water, and I will be back. My filtered water, and I'm going to top these off. And of course make a big mess. I guess that's okay. It's time to mop the floor. But there we go. We have our kombucha made for our next. There we go. We have our kombucha for our next batch. We have plenty of water on the floor for our next mopping. So that's what I'll be doing next. And then we want to cover this up. So I just have a piece of muslin. You can just use coffee filters if that's what you have, but we don't drink coffee here, so we don't have any filters. So I use muslin, and if you have a rubber band, you can put a rubber band around it to keep it kind of tight. But I can't find my rubber bands, so I am using some yarn. But it is easy as that. Now I will store this for 3 to 5 days, depending on the heat of the house. For us, it only takes about 3 days, and I will store mine actually right here to where I can remember that I have this cooking, and we will have the bottles of kombucha will be ready in about 2 days, and then I will put in the fridge and we'll be able to drink it then. So I hope this helps you out on making your own kombucha, and this is Becca. I will see you again soon. Bye.